Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome into Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at oursuccessgroup.com. Welcome back to Small Business Saturdays. We've been off for a week or so, just lots of travel and stuff like that. And I appreciate everybody's patience with me with the last time I tried to do this episode. We had a long day of training and everything. So appreciate you guys sticking with me, and let's see who we've got here. Good morning, everybody checking in here. Jerry, good morning. Finally finished my first book. I may read another next year. Awesome. Good job, Jerry. And my voice has recovered. Yeah, it feels much better. So good morning. And Janessa, hey, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing awesome. Everything's going great. And we also have somebody checking in from Facebook. So if you'll go to osg.link/FU for Facebook user, that will let us know who it is, or you can head over to liveosg.com. So, all right, guys. Well, let's dive right in here. We are talking today about speeding up success, right? And what got me started on this was a video by Jack Canfield, and was kind of catching up on some of his videos, and it's about 5 minutes and 27 seconds long, and it says speed up success. And so what I want to do is I want to get into that particular video, and let's just watch it together, and then I want to have a discussion. And I need you guys to jump in and share your thoughts, your feedback, your ideas, and just let me know what you think about speeding up success. Because what happens is a lot of times we feel like, gosh, we're not getting there fast enough, right? We push too hard. We think that we need to get there faster than we really probably do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's just dive right into that. Let's check out this video here first, and then we can discuss speeding up success on this wonderful Saturday morning. So I'm going to put that onto screen, and we will dive right in here. So before I get too far away from it here, let me just make one more change. And there we go. Okay, here we go.
Today I'm going to share with you what to do when you find that success is coming too slowly or more slowly than you want. Now, how can you speed up success? Is there an antidote for those times you're experiencing slow outcomes despite all your planning and all your hard work? What's the secret to seeing huge results right now? Well, I get these questions frequently from people who feel frustrated at the sluggish progress that they're having in their journey to success. And despite all the know-how and principles they rigorously employ, they're not getting where they want to go fast enough. But let's get one thing straight. When you look at the life of a successful person, when you focus on the end product or the end result they've achieved, too often you don't really consider the effort and the time that it took to get there. You don't see all those years they spent honing their craft or building their business or earning their reputation. Unfortunately, failing to see this process often cultivates unrealistic expectations, especially the idea that overnight success can happen through careful strategy and an execution of sound advice. If truth be told, success typically follows a series of small achievements and little events that can seem to take an eternity, and which include a few disappointments along the way. But this process often challenges you to the core, your stamina, your courage, your integrity, and even your willingness to keep going. But if you focus on these disappointments, guess what? As you struggle to succeed, you'll be coming from a place of aggravation, impatience, as your mind constantly conjures up all that's wrong. And you may even have negative thoughts like, I'm not good enough, it will never work, or something must be wrong with me. Well, what this mentality does is it engenders more of these counterproductive feelings. And given what we know about the law of attraction, you tend to attract what you're feeling. So negative experiences, people and results will beget more negative experiences, people and results. And there's not much success in that. The key then is to focus on what is working. And to do that, I recommend two simple practices: journaling and meditation. Maintaining a journal is a great way to steer your attention to the positive and continually renew your vision for yourself. So start each day by reflecting on what you're grateful for, and then list them in your journal, all the things you're grateful for. And then end every day with notes on what went right, however small these victories might seem to you at the time. In addition to practicing gratitude, spend time each day, in the morning and again at night, in quiet contemplation, prayer, or meditation. Meditation can be a powerful tool for arriving at solutions to problems and shifting your attitude to attract success sooner rather than later. And the magic of meditation is that its ability to shut down your judgmental, highly critical brain and for a short while allow your unconscious mind to take over. And meditation lets you enter a deeper state of inner peace and joy, tapping into a higher level of creativity that will help usher in the results you want. So let's say you're doing all these things, but you still aren't happy with your results. Well, I'll ask you then this: are you taking real action? Or are you simply doing the things you've always done? I often say that if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep on getting what you've always gotten. Moving forward on your goals then is simply a matter of practicing new behaviors. So shake things up a bit and see if you can take some new actions or modify some existing ones. And always remember the rule of 5. Every day, do 5 specific things that will bring you closer to your goal. And change up those 5 actions regularly, and also be open to feedback from others and from yourself and from the results you're seeing, so you know when you're off course and when you're on course. And lastly, I want to remind you about patience. It's natural to underestimate how long a certain goal can take, especially a profound one. When I set a goal to become a millionaire, that was in 1983. How long did it take me? 11 years. It took time for Chicken Soup for the Soul to hit the bestseller list. And that's a lot of patience for someone who initially wanted overnight success. I can identify with that. So yes, patience is a virtue. Whatever's going on, keep at it. And in no time, you'll be only 1 week or 1 day away from your ultimate success. And remember, be grateful. Reflect on what is working and continue to keep taking action. So I want to leave you with a small bit of homework to complete after you've done watching this video. Resolve to start a gratitude journal to begin steering your attention to the positive and continually renew your vision for yourself. So leave a comment below on how keeping a journal has helped you, and I'll follow up with you to make sure you're staying on track. So thanks again for watching, and remember, nothing will change for the better until you do. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you...
Okay, there we go. So, like I said, I'm excited to really dive into those of you that are tuned in live here. What'd you take from that? What were the things that stood out? I want to discuss those things with you. I have my list, obviously. And so with that being said, let me, okay. All right. So while you guys are jumping in there and kind of letting that sink in and telling me what you think, I want to start with a few things. I've got about 5 things on my list here, and I've got my list right there. Keep going. Action says is one of the comments that we've got there. Awesome. Well, okay. So that's a good place to start. But let me back up just a hair. I want to go back kind of to the earlier part of the video because the very first thing that stood out to me was when he talked about negative attracts negative, right? Negative thoughts, right? Like, this is never going to happen. I'm so frustrated. Things are so terrible. Right? This is not working for me. All of those things will conspire to do just that, right? This is not working for me. Correct. It's not working because that's what your mindset is, right? The negative people around you. Oh, you can never do that, right? So we have to get out of that negative mindset. We just, whatever it's going to take, we have to believe it before we'll see it, right? And that's been something that's been a big saying, something I've been sharing quite a lot lately with folks, is because we get ourselves into that trap, and I'm right there with you. As Jack kind of said about something else, I can identify, right? I can identify with that. It's not going to happen. It's frustrating. All those things. Well, I understand that, but in that space, in that mind space, in that flow, so to speak, is the need to have those thoughts, right? I get it, right? That's our human built-in protection mechanism. But to get to where we want to go, right? So if we want to be successful in anything that we do, but especially as business owners, we have to figure out how to flip that switch. And negative attracts negative. So whether it's negative people in our lives, right? And it's not that you can't be around them. It's that you have to figure out how to moderate that and how to manage that, right? And how to lift them up too, right? I have somebody in my life that has had their entire life be around finding the problem, right? And just pointing it out and grumbling about it, right? And so it's my responsibility, though, if I want to spend time with them, that I need to help him see that the complaining is not going to do any good, right? And in fact, it's just putting him in a more of a negative place. So that's then the choice that I get to make, right? We all get to make whatever choices we want to make about our lives. If we go back to the very first success principle, any of you that have followed me long enough understand that the success principles are a big part of what it is that I believe in. And the number one success principle is we have to take 100% responsibility. We have to make those choices. And that choice for me is I either need to help them see a better space, right? Help myself see that better space, that choosing to think positive thoughts and think about all the things that have gone right, as opposed to trying to find all of the things that are not working. So that was the first one for me. Kylene has jumped in here, and I love all this. So I'm going to flip to that real quick, and we could talk about that, and then I can get to my second one on the list as well. So Kylene says gratitude, journaling, and meditation, and how powerful that is for us to keep going. Also was a good reminder that you need to be intentional about your actions, not doing the same thing over and over, hoping for different results, right? Yes, that. I love that last part there. I mean, obviously, I love that whole thing, Kylene, and I love that you shared that. But doing the same thing, expecting a different result is what the definition of insanity is. So that's a really great point. All right. And then Tanya shared, the people I choose to be in my inner circle make a huge difference for attitude. We have a rule at the store. Touch the fire extinguisher at the door and leave your negativity at the door. Come in with a positive attitude. It affects everyone. Oh, that's great. And Tanya, this is such a great share by you too, because you added something in here I think that we don't understand enough. In fact, this is something I'm efforting to find somebody to come in and help me talk about on this program. But you talked about touching the fire extinguisher at the door, right? It's that physical touch. It's called positive anchoring. And I'm actually reached out to a couple of friends of mine that are NLP certified, neuro-linguistic practitioners. And we're going to talk about that, positive anchoring, right? So that's a really good point, Tanya. So thank you for sharing that. Excellent. Okay. So you guys keep that stuff coming, keep the things that showed up for you. Like I said, the first thing that stood out for me was that negative attracts negative. So we have to flip the switch, right? By choosing to be around people, by saying something, right? Saying, you know what, I appreciate that you feel that this is a negative thing, but I'd prefer to choose the positive. And if that's not good for you, that's okay. That's their choice. But my choice is going to be to find the positive, to be in positive conversations, to be around positive people, to think positively as best I can about myself and work through that. So that's number one. The second thing that stood out was gratitude, right? And Kylene said that gratitude, journaling, and meditation. Just getting into gratitude. For those of you that have not jumped in yet, let's see if I can find it here in a banner. But if you'll go to osg.link/volley, one of the most active channels over there on our volley community is the daily gratitude, right? And so I would encourage you to use that tool, use that resource. Not only does it do amazing things for you to jump in there and share that, right? Just 5 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're grateful for, 1 thing that you're grateful for. It doesn't really matter, right? The more you can share, the better. But it does multiple things. A, it gets you into that state of gratitude, which then that's going to attract the positive things for you. That's how you're going to speed up success. The more positivity you surround yourself with, right? Gratitude, right? So if we're grateful for the things around us, we're going to attract more of that stuff. And so that gratitude. But then the second thing it does is you're now sharing with other people, right? Your space is widening. The amount of positive people around you are going to be jumping into that channel just like you, right? And you're going to hear the positivity coming from them, and you can use that, right? Maybe you're having an off day and you hear Kylene jump in there and share all the things that she's grateful for. It changes you internally. It changes you in here. And guess what? All of a sudden, your day starts getting better, right? Just by listening to the gratitude that Kylene shared or Tanya shared or the other people that are fairly active in that gratitude channel. So that would be one thing that I would encourage you to take on immediately. And, you can do it 5 days a week. You can do it 7 days a week. You can do it twice a day, right? Jump in there whenever. That whole channel got built based on Kylene's Thankful Thursday program that she does every Thursday at 1 p.m. So that's another thing I would recommend you checking out. Right here on these same channels that you'd find Small Business Saturday, every Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m., you can catch Kylene sharing Thankful Thursday, where she gets into gratitude. And when she's getting into gratitude, right, again, we're raising that. These chemicals in here are changing, and we are getting better. You can go back and watch the replays. Maybe Thursday at 1's not a good time for you because you've got a day job or whatever the case may be. Well, jump in there. But you have to engage with it, right? Even when you're watching the replay, share your thoughts. Put in things that are you're grateful for. So gratitude would be the second thing. So let's see what else we've got here. Tanya says, the Volley Gratitude channel is awesome. I'm going to get back into a schedule of doing it again since we were back from traveling. Absolutely. And Tanya, you've been a stalwart in that channel, so we very much appreciate you keeping it going. I know I miss days with the traveling and stuff like that too, but always going back and watching that, right? I always watch every single one of those. There's volleys that it's like, okay, cool, I get it, but I've got other things going on. But I never miss a gratitude volley, right? Just hearing that and experiencing that just raises me up to a different level. So Chuck says, I haven't joined in it yet, but it really helps me every day. I love that, Chuck, right? So you're experiencing that experience. Now, right, the next step is just jump in there. Give it a shot, right? Just one thing that you're grateful for, right? I'm super grateful. I know, Chuck, you're kind of down there in the path of everything that's gone on with Ian, and I'm very grateful that you're here joining me this morning and are doing good, right? I'm grateful for the experience of a lot of my friends. Fortunately, they have not been as badly affected as some other folks with that situation going on down there with Ian. So gratitude, I love that. Okay, thank you, you guys. Let me get this out of the way, and we'll okay, so that was number 2. Number 3, and Kylene mentioned this in her comment too, was meditation, right? And meditation, I'm discovering all of these things, and so maybe it's just in my brain, but you know what? That's what it's Small Business Saturdays by Aaron Montgomery. So I'm going to share what's in my brain, and maybe it'll resonate with you guys. But I've found throughout this whole process of the success principles, working and building up our success group and getting a chance to talk to people and all that other stuff, I found throughout this process, there's a lot of things that have gotten a bad rap, right? They're they need a better PR department is the way I always jokingly talk about it, right? The business planning and other things like this. But we always want to separate business from things that we think are personal, or maybe even things that we think are too I don't know, the woo-woo's the word that comes up a lot. Whatever that is for you. It's, new age mumbo jumbo, right? But meditation is one of those things that gets this bad rap in a lot of ways. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably because it's not easy. It's a challenging thing to do. And so a lot of us will go, meditation, it doesn't work. It doesn't do any good. It 100% does. You have to find what's going to work for you. I always thought for a very long time that I could not meditate, right? That shiny object syndrome has got me bad, and I work on it all the time, and I'm grateful and happy that I'm growing and learning in that. But to sit and meditate for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, my brain has not allowed me to do that yet, in that what I would consider this traditional style of meditating, right? Even just guided meditations where, there's something important. Jack Canfield's big time into meditation, as you could hear, and he's done a whole lot of them. And I've been able to, through the work that I get to do in the background, get access to a ton of his meditations that he only shares with people inside the community. And they're really powerful. And I still I get halfway through and I'm like, doing this. Oh, wait. Oh, I just remember this thing I got to do, right? And all this kind of stuff. But you have to find what's going to work for you, because it's about getting out of the shiny objects, right? And it's about being able to focusing in on more of the positive things, focusing in on your inner core true self, the thing that makes you who you are, that unique person. And so it's about almost like it's been explained to me like a passing car, right? Where the thoughts come in, you accept the thoughts without judgment, and then you let them go, and you stay focused on the straight ahead, right? So it's like you get this, and as they're here in front of you, blocking your view, you go, oh, hi, thought, thank you, bye-bye, right? And just like that. So what I've discovered for me, and I don't have one down here with me, but what I've discovered for me, I've gotten involved with a program called Zentangles from my friend Lorraine Thompson. And Zentangles is just drawing, and it's drawing in a very specific way. There's actually 8 steps to it. Lorraine does an awesome beginners online class, and so if you want to see that, just let me know and I will point you in the right direction. But if you just go look up Lorraine Thompson artwork, she's up in Canada, so there's a couple Lorraine Thompsons out there. But like I said, I'll put the link out in the comments here I'm going to put it, if you go to our Success Group's Facebook page, and if you go there, I will put in the comments of this particular program the link to her classes for the beginner online classes. So, but what Zentangles does is very specific. And so what I've found what works for me is when I'm focused in on that drawing, because I'm not a very good artist. I've not traditionally been something that I would consider to be my unique skill. That when I'm focused on that allows those thoughts to not be so powerful. So then I can focus in on the guided meditation or whatever it is that I'm trying to focus on and quote unquote meditate on. And it's been super powerful for me. So Tanya shares meditation, tapping, as well as other meditations. Yep, tapping is another great one. Kylene leads a group 3 times a week where they do tapping. In fact, if Kylene's listening in, if she has the link to it or you want to connect with Kylene, she's here in the comments. We'll get her comment in a second. You can connect with her, and I'm sure they're always looking to add more people to that tapping. It's bright and early in the morning and gets your day started. So tapping, as well as other meditation, has been great for my business, Tanya says. Confidence and pain management, right? And there's another part that I love that Tanya shared. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tanya, because again, we try to silo everything. I've got my business over here. I've got, my mindset over here. I've got my health over here. I've got the way my body feels over here. I've got my family and all this stuff. The reality is a successful business owner is able to balance and manage all of those things together. So getting pain management under control is really important, right? And Tanya's doing a really great job at doing that, because she's focused in. She understands that that's just as important to her business as the work she does in her business or on her business. So Balance is an app that teaches you how to meditate. Oh, cool. I have not tried that app yet. Calm was an app that I used for a while, and that was pretty good. Tapping Solutions is amazing as well, and that's another app, right? It's by a gentleman named Nick Ortner who wrote a book on tapping, and in fact, that is what Kylene and the group uses. And Kylene actually put the link for tapping here. If you want to join, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. So we'll get a short link to that or something like that, so you guys can join in, or you can just connect with Kylie and just reach out to her on Messenger or whatever is easiest, and she can connect you there. So, and Tanya says, we're happy to have others join the tapping group. Love our 3 times a week tapping. So there you go. There's another way, right? So you just got to find what works for you, and sometimes that takes trying on some things. That takes looking for things that are, you maybe didn't think of, right? How could you help? So going back to the Zentangles here real quick, Kylie says, love Lorraine and her Zentangles. As far as meditation, just try to give myself grace if I'm a bit distracted during meditation and keep moving forward, not beating myself up if thoughts pop up. Kylie, that's perfect, because that was where I also took away the benefits of meditating for me. Right, is I was so worried about the fact that I wasn't a good meditator. I was so worried about the fact that I got so easily distracted that I didn't allow myself that grace to go, it's okay, right? That shiny object, that kind of doing a lot and having a lot of thoughts coming in, that's honestly a superpower of mine. That's how I get to the places that I can get to in my life, because I can take a lot of action. That's one of my core values, is that ambition, that hard work, those kinds of things. But I turned that around and somehow made that into a negative for myself because I couldn't meditate. Oh my gosh, I'm never going to do this, right? But it just took trying things. It took action. It kept trying things and finding what's going to work for you when it comes to meditating or anything that you're trying to work on. And again, let me just tie this all back, because you might be going, wait a second, gosh, I thought I tuned into Small Business Saturdays here. Why the heck are we talking so much about meditation? But like I talked about with Tanya, like I talked about with myself, right? We got to get everything working in the right direction before we can see success. If you want to speed up success, think about all the different areas of your life, right? So Kylene and I break down our areas of life into 5 main chunks, and inside each of those 5 chunks, there are 2 subcategories, right? And so it's everything from career and finances, to health and fun, to our community, to our growth and spirituality, to our friends and family, to our love and relationships, all that stuff. And I think I mentioned health and wellness in there, right? And each month we're going to rate. In fact, today is the start of a new month, so we're going to our next meeting on Thursday. We'll go through that, right? How was September? How did we rate on that scale? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do we do in all 10 of those areas? And I know the only way to speed up success is once we push all of those areas out to as close to a 10 as we can get them, right? And so for me, for a while here, one of the low areas for me has been my health, right? I'm a little bit overweight, working pretty hard to try to get our success group off the ground. I want to see it successful. I want to be able to help people. And it's not an easy path, right? You guys that have your own businesses out there know this. It's not always an easy path. So you put a lot of time and effort into that. And so through that time and effort, I let my health suffer. Right. And so if I want to get to my idea of success faster, though, I need to go, wait a second, I got to get back on track. So in fact, just this week, I made a decision. I met a chiropractor at a recent run that we did, and I really connected with him. Right. He talked a lot about the holistic approach, looking at the nervous system and how that all moves. So I've gone to chiropractors before, and I've really enjoyed it from a feeling standpoint, but I knew that I needed to get my body back into shape. So I made a huge commitment to getting back to going to that chiropractic care. Right? And I got adjusted yesterday, and boy, I feel different, right? Just after one adjustment, because I can now move my neck better. I'm more able to focus now. I've got a lot of work to do there before I can get back to where I need to be. So I'm going to be going to him 3 times a week for a couple of months here to get back on track. But I know putting that effort into getting my body right is also going to help my business move forward, because I'm going to have more energy. I'm going to have more focus. I'm going to have a better, just more positivity, right? We talked about negative attract negative, positive's going to attract positive. So that was number 2. The gratitude. Number 3 was meditation. So, okay, 1, get out of the negativity. Just be in the positive as much as you can. And do that through gratitude, which is number 2. And then number 3 is meditation, being able to focus and find that balance in your life, right? And then number 4 that stood out for me was he talked about having the importance of a success log, right? So, and Tanya, thank you. Before I get too far away, I do want to share this comment from Tanya. She says, I highly recommend yoga as well. Kylene does Rise and Shine. So if you go to riseshine.yoga, just Rise, Shine, those 2 words together as one, .yoga, you can check that out. But she's got Rise and Shine Yoga, which is a very gentle yoga practice. So even if you think, oh gosh, yoga's not for me, I'm not bendy and twisty. That's the whole reason that Kylene did this, because she didn't feel like she fit the mold of what a yogi was, what a yoga instructor was. And she worked through those fears because she knew that there were other people out there like her that felt like, gosh, it's not for me, but she knows the benefits of this, right? So it's very gentle. So wherever you're at, this is one of my favorite sayings that she uses all the time, is wherever you're at is perfectly fine. She's going to meet you where you're at. And even if you're a bit more of an experienced yogi, right, having that person there that can help and guide you and just give you that motivation and positive energy to do it. And then Tanya mentioned chair yoga, right? So even some people might go, okay, well, yoga in a chair, I don't get it, right? I didn't get it at first either, but I can truly see the value in that, right? In that movement. It's movement and mindset and just all that building up, right? Things happen to us. We have experiences that, are just out of our control, whether that's health or whatever, we get to a certain point and we need to start somewhere, and we need to be growing and moving and just, for example, Tanya's sharing that she does that. I am just so amazed and so grateful for having Tanya in our lives. She's doing such amazing things, and so that's another thing that can get us there. And then Kylene says, thank you for sharing. It's a pretty powerful tool to help strengthen your body and calm your mind so you can have more focus and energy. Awesome. All right. And Martha, good morning. So great to see you this morning. Okay, so I want to get into number 4 because I started, and then that was really important that I shared that. So thank you guys for letting me bounce all over the place. Right there, it is. There's my superpower. Right, the thoughts come and go, and I chase them all over the place, and that's okay. Right, but I have to find that balance in that. So number 4 is, you talked about that success log. The things that we get done. Right, We've become very great, especially in today's world. There's this badge of honor that we seem to have decided is one of the most important things in our world, is that if we're not busy, we're not productive, right? And this comes from this mentality of how we were raised. We were raised to work for other people, right? You think about the American dream. It's you go to work, you work your 9 to 5, you have the 2.5 kids and your white picket fence in the suburbs, right? That was the mentality. And so that's how all of our systems, our society was built around, was that we were going to go to work for somebody else and do as we're told, right? And there's certainly nothing wrong with that. If you can do work that is fulfilling to you and that gives you your idea of success, then I think that's fantastic. But the reality for most of us is we need more, right? That's why we're here. We're creating something for ourselves that is more than just what working for somebody else can do for us. And so we have to start changing those scripts, right? We have to start getting out of this, I have to wear busyness as a badge of honor, right? What you need to do is you need to be focused on the priorities. You need to be busy getting the things done that you need to get done. And one of the ways to do that is to have a success log. At the end of each day, write down 5 things that you accomplished that day, whatever they are, right? Maybe it wasn't all the things that you had hoped to get done, but if you write down those things and then celebrate those things, the next day you're going to start with more energy, right? Because most of us get to the end of the day and go, crap, I didn't get done. We go to bed, we wake up with that demure, like, crap, I've got 10 things to do because I didn't get the 5 things I wanted to get done yesterday done. Right, and it just stacks up, and the weight, right, we start getting lower and lower, and right, that whole physical sensation actually starts happening. So if you, at the end of the day, write down the 5 things that you got done, whatever they are, right? Maybe it's just, I spent time with my kid, right? I had an opportunity to have a conversation with my significant other, right? I had a phone call with a friend that I hadn't talked to in a long time. Whatever those things are that stood out to you in your day, write those things down as a success journal, right? So we're also focused on the to-do lists, the things that we have to get done in the future. What about your done list? I think our done list can be even more important to our future success than our future to-do list. Right? Because here's why. We can celebrate those things, right? So we realize we're getting more done than we think we are. So we're speeding up success, right? Let's get back to the main point of this conversation today. We're speeding up success because we're actually realizing how much we're actually moving each and every day, right? And that gives us more energy to do more, and that momentum builds up, right? The momentum is really key here. We got to keep that momentum going. The second thing that a done list does for us is it gives us an amazing bit of feedback. It gives us feedback that we don't realize is even there, right? Because once we have that done list, then we can go back and review it. So once a week, for me, I go through and I write down all the things that I was able to accomplish the week before. A, is that celebration, but B, as feedback, right? Because then I start looking at, okay, what is it that I did? Right? What feedback do I have there? How can I change my focus for the next week? Right? Maybe I thought I was doing a lot of things that were really important, but maybe they didn't move the needle as much as I thought that they would. And so instead of continuing to just bang my head against the wall going down the wrong path, I can now make an adjustment, right? It's not you screwed up, you fool, let's do something different. It's okay, I learned from that. Now let me tweak a little bit. I'm just going to change that mentality a little bit this next week. And instead of focusing on X, Y, and Z, now I'm going to focus on A, B, and C instead, right? Or whatever that change is for you. So that action review, for those of you that are our success group members, I posted yesterday in the group in there. And because I've been doing this for a while in my own life, right, I've gotten pretty good at recognizing when we look at our done list, right, those are the choices that we make, right? Everything in our business, in our lives, it's all about a combination of the choices that we make each and every moment, each and every day, right? And a few bad choices are not going to ruin everything, just like a few good choices are not going to change your world instantly. They all build up over time, and the great part is we can change that trajectory at any moment, right? All we have to do is choose something differently, right? So if you're in that spot where nothing's working for me, gosh, can I do this? You know, all of those negative spaces that we talked about earlier, when we get to that point, the cool part is all you have to do is make a different choice, right? It's extremely simple. And I think that's why one of the reasons why it's so hard, because it is so simple that we think we need this complex solution to change our trajectory. But it's actually very simple to just make another choice. Now, I've been very clear about using the word simple there, because while it's simple, I completely understand that it is not easy. Right? Simple and easy are two different things. Simple means it's not a complex mess. Easy would mean that it doesn't take any effort. So it's not easy. It does require effort. It requires action. It requires stacking up actions and then building that momentum to use that momentum to move yourself forward. So that done list is a catalyst for that, right? So that's the other part that stood out to me. And then Jack talked about using the rule of 5, right? So then we can change, right? We use that done list as feedback, and we start changing the things that we're doing. We start making different choices. And once we start making those different choices, now we've got new feedback to work from. And each and every day we can say, okay, let me focus on these 5 things that are going to get me closer to my goal. And I'm going to tackle those things each day, right? And so working on that. And then the last bit was patience, right? And this is the hardest thing. In our world today, we want instant gratification. I know I want instant gratification, right? Been working on our success group since January of 2020. And I certainly thought we'd be in a much different space than we are right now, right? But things happen, right? Things kind of evolve, right? Todd's really focused on his business, and that's really growing for him, right? But as we know, with the focus circle, right, you can only focus on so many things at once. So that's just the way that it is, right? So and I've really changed a ton since we first started, right? And I've learned so much since we first started. And so I've had to gain a lot more skills. I'm really focused on trying to get my book done right now because I believe that's going to be a glue that's going to tie a lot of these things together for us. And so we all have to have that patience to realize that it's going to show up when it's ready, not when you force it to, right? So if we have that patience, and then that leads us back to gratitude. That leads us back to making sure that we're grateful for the things that we do have, and that will do more to speed up your success than anything else, right? Finding that patience, going back to gratitude, and what will happen is when we spend more of our time in that mentality of gratitude, success is going to come faster, and we're going to realize, wow, look at where I'm at compared to where I was, right? When we're just dealing with these little small chunks of time, right? Oh, this month, even a year, right? We're not always seeing everything. But when we take time to actually reflect, find the gratitude in those things, we realize that, wow, where we were at in this moment versus out here in this moment. For those of you that are listening to the podcast version of it, right, I've got my hands pretty wide, filling the whole screen here versus being right nearly next to each other. So those are the 5 things that showed up for me out of that whole video, how we speed up success, right? So let me just review those one more quick time. That negativity attracts negativity. So we have to find a way to instead attract positivity. And honestly, this comment by Kylene, I think, is a great summarizer and really wraps what I've been trying to say here that for the last 5 minutes up perfectly. Grateful for the journey, not just the end result, right? And so the way I always say that is we have to go into everything, right? The future we're trying to create, we have to have the highest intentions, meaning we have to believe that it's possible, that we can go wherever, right off the charts. We can go wherever we want to go. We have to have that high intention, and then we need to leave the action, right? Once that action's done, we need to leave it with very low attachments to that end result, right? Because that end result is nothing more than feedback, right? I consider, so that there's a lot of different ways that people would talk about what's considered a, some people, I know, like the Canfield world, they call it a breakthrough goal, right? It's that big goal that you realize is going to break you through, get you to kind of that tipping point, right? Other people would call it a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. You know, what's the big goal? What's the 5-year goal? What's the 10-year goal? That big goal? Well, I actually call it a turning point goal. And the reason why I chose turning point goal, because in my mind, right, that's that turning point. Again, it's kind of, we see it as a little bit of an end result, but it's not really the end result, right? If it's my 5-year goal and I reach that goal, it's not like I'm just going to go, okay, thanks, I'm mailing it in, life's over, right? It's a turning point. It gives me a new perspective that I can do something really big. And then, and it will give you that new perspective, but it's about the journey. It's about all the things that you've learned along the way. It has nothing to actually do with that thing, that end result, right? So that's how you speed up success, is you are grateful for the journey, not just the end result. So I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Kylene. Perfect. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to recap one more time if you guys have anything else you want to share, but I think we've covered a lot of ground today, and I appreciate everybody being part of this. If you're joining in live, again, if you're catching the podcast version of this, feel free to join us live on a Saturday morning. If you just go to liveosg.com, that'll take you over to our YouTube page, or you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/oursuccessgrouppro. And so recap real quick the 5 things that I took away from that video at the top from Jack Canfield. Negativity attracts negativity, so we're going to put out positivity and attract positivity. We're gonna believe it before we see it. We're gonna find that positive. Second thing is gratitude. Being able to find that space of gratitude, be grateful. Join us in the Volley community, osg.link/volley. And not only listen to the gratitude in the daily gratitude channel, but actively engage in it. Jump in there. If you need to type in 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for, you can use the text function. If you want to just use the audio function, use the audio function. But show up with the video function and give it a try, right? When we can see other humans, right, our eyeballs, right, the window to the soul, they talk about it, right? That does, you think that is going to do something for somebody else? Well, when you're doing something for somebody else, you're also doing something for yourself. We're all connected, right? So number 2 is gratitude. Find us over at osg.link/volley in the daily gratitude over there. Number 3, meditation, right? Getting into that space where we can find inner calm, inner peace, because again, we get so distracted that we don't always focus on the things we need to focus on. We do not have a time management problem. Nobody has a time management problem. Everybody has the exact same 24 hours, right? And so it can't be a time management, because if it was time management, then somebody would have more time than somebody else, right? So it's priority management, because we get to choose all the things that we do, right? You don't have to sleep, right? It's not required each and every night. Now, will it affect your health, right? Those choices are going to add up and build up. So you have to find that balance, right? You don't necessarily have to go to the day job. You could quit at any moment, right? That is the truth, right? Even if you were incarcerated, right, you don't have to just sit there and do nothing, right? You could grow in that moment. Viktor Frankl wrote a book and survived the Holocaust by changing his mindset as he was locked up. So check him out, Viktor Frankl. All right, so meditation and getting back to that focus on the priorities. And then 4 is the success log, that done list, right? That action review, rule of 5, and then having patience. I did mention, I don't know if I went through the whole bit of it, so let me go back and make sure I covered that more clearly. If you are an OSG member, I put a post in the private members group yesterday that if you'll go in there and engage, take action, right, I will help and support you in trying to find the feedback in your done list. Right? I've been doing this for a while, and so I've gotten fairly good at it, and it helps me make adjustments. And I'm willing to share that with you if you're willing to jump in there and take action, right? So, because those actions are telling you what your choices were, right? And so if you need to make different choices to speed up your success, then you need to find the feedback in that so you can make those different choices. All right, so that's number 4. And then because it's so important, number 5 is actually going back to gratitude, right? And a lot of ways to do that. In the Volley community, you can jump on to Kylene's Thankful Thursday at 1 p.m., right at the same places that you're catching this here. at liveosg.com, which is our YouTube channel, or you can also find it over there at the Facebook group. And, so if you're a podcast listener, you will need to go to those places, but you can always watch the replays there. And again, if you're watching the replays, jump into the comments, and even if the thing's a year old, go back to it, jump into the comments, share that. It's all going to lift. Rising tide lifts all boats, right? So there you go. 5. Negative attracts negative. So we're going to go with positive attracts positive. And number 2 is gratitude. Number 3 is meditation. Number 4 is that success log. Number 5 is get back to gratitude. All right. So that is what I have for you guys today. If there's nothing else, I'm going to let you get back into your Saturdays. Incredible stuff. Thank you guys for that have tuned in live here. Thank you for joining me and sharing. And I hope this has been helpful for you. Again, easy to speed up success. We just got to find the balance, right? We have to look at all the areas and then be able to focus on the positives. So that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you back here next week for another Small Business Saturdays, and we will talk to everybody again soon. Have a great day.